In this section, we are going to understand differences between next generation firewalls and web application firewalls, right? Next generation firewalls. Gartner defines it as a deep packet inspection firewall that moves beyond port protocol inspection and blocking to add application level inspection, intrusion prevention, and bridging intelligence from outside the firewall. So basically, next generation firewalls are different than the traditional or legacy firewalls because traditional or legacy firewalls, they operate up to layer 4 of OSI model, layer 4 of OSI model, right? It means traditional or legacy firewalls, they inspect layer 3 header, that is IP header, layer 4 header, TCP or UDP header only. So even in order to identify applications, what they do, they just look at the destination port address only. So on the basis of destination port address, applications are identified. It means traditional or legacy firewalls, they do not have application intelligence, right? They don't have any knowledge about the application. It means just port and address based firewalls. And even like traditional or legacy firewalls, they do not provide threat prevention. So as such, there is no threat prevention mechanism. But what about next generation firewalls? So next generation firewall means deep packet inspection, application aware. Next generation firewalls are application aware, right? IPS sort of thing, intrusion prevention or threat prevention. So now here the question is, if I have a next generation firewall in my network environment like Palo Alto firewall, Cisco FTD, or Checkpoint firewall, so still do we need to have a WAF, web application firewall, to protect web applications, right? Like the F5 big IP ASM or not? So in order to understand that properly, first let's look at like this next generation firewall features in detail, what next generation firewalls can do and what they cannot do. And then I will just discuss about WAF, web application firewall. And then after we would be in a position to conclude this discussion, whether like next generation firewall and WAF both are required or only next generation firewall, right? So let's first understand next generation firewall capabilities. So what next generation firewalls can do? Use next generation firewalls use signatures and analysis to identify applications. For example, in Palo Alto firewall, there is app ID, application ID. It means Palo Alto firewall has a database of more than 3,500 well-known applications, right? So in order to identify applications, this Palo Alto or any next generation firewall, they not do not rely only on the destination port address. It means, of course, layer 3 inspection and then layer 4 inspection, TCP or UDP port number, and then after deep inspection inside application data. It means very difficult or almost impossible to use any evasive tactics to bypass the firewall, like the port hopping, protocol hopping, or tunneling inside another protocol. Very, very difficult, right? Because next generation firewalls, they have like protocol decoder, application IDs. Even they also look at the behavior of the application, that is known as heuristic. The next feature of next generation firewall is like passive security using whitelist applications. So in security policy, whatever applications we allow, only those applications will be allowed. by the firewall, right? Whitelist means allowed will be allowed, and if we don't say anything about other applications, so there is implicit denial, right? So as such, no negative security model is completely positive security model. Uses signatures for the IPS intrusion preventive system. So as I said, next generation firewalls means complete threat preventions, complete threat prevention, antivirus, anti-malware, anti-spyware, vulnerability protection, right? And of course, sandboxing, that is preventing zero-day attack, also known as wildfire in Palo Alto. Next generation firewalls include app ID to identify applications, content ID, content inspection, right? To identify threads in the content, user ID to identify users, and even in next generation firewalls, there is like complete SSL decryption policy or HTTPS inspection that allows inspecting encrypted content, because encrypted data is first decrypted either with the SSL decryption policy or HTTPS inspection, and then uh, in fact inspected for any known threats. So like antivirus, spyware, vulnerability, URL filtering, and of course like next generation firewall means all features of traditional firewalls like layer 3, 4, ACS and VPN domination and other stuff, and used to protect user inside the enterprise. Okay, so it means if there is next generation firewall, so there's going to be app ID, content inspection, that is content ID, user ID, and like a decryption policy. I mean decrypting the encrypted content, and then in fact identifying any threat inside that. And but what they cannot do, next generation firewalls doesn't protect layer 7 web applications, right? Because they're not especially designed for that purpose. Cannot protect against OWASP top 10. OWASP top 10, Open Web Application Security Project, and top 10 threats, right? And the latest report, OWASP is basically an organization, Open Web Application Security Project. And the latest report was published in year 2017 with top 10 common most threats or weaknesses of web applications, right? For example, like code injection attack, cross-site scripting, parameter tampering, etc. Missing authentication, cookies tampering. So top 10 well-known vulnerabilities of web applications. Simple injection attacks slip by the fences, cross-site scripting, parameter tampering, forceful browsing, attacks are not detected, and no IRUs type of thing in next generation firewalls. And I'm going to show you the features provided by web application firewall. And of course, side by side, I will compare with next generation firewall. And for this demonstration purpose, I'm going to use Palo Alto firewall, Palo Alto firewall 10.x, the latest one released in 2020. So side by side, I'm going to compare this next generation firewall with F5 Big IP ASM, right? WAF, Web Application Firewall. So it's not like next generation firewall cannot provide OWASP top 10 protection, but if but not all, of course. For example, in Palo Alto firewall, there is vulnerability protection profile. With that, even we can protect a web application from SQL code injection attack, cross-site scripting attack. So not all top 10, but maybe like few of them, right? But there are some other limitations of next generation firewalls. For example, in HTTP protocol, there are different HTTP methods. The common one is of course GET. post, head. Apart from that, like delete is another HTTP method, even put, trace, etc. So basically delete means like a file can be deleted on the web server, a file can be uploaded there on the web server, right? Trace, like even the web server can be used as a proxy server. So basically these HTTP methods should never be allowed by the firewall, right? Because very risky. These HTTP methods are very risky in fact. So ideally they should not be allowed. So can we create this kind of policy in like any next generation firewall? I mean, like what type of HTTP method should be allowed and what type of HTTP method should not be allowed? Can we protect like this forceful browsing or parameter tampering? And I'm going to give a very quick demonstration of all this, like how like these attacks can be done very easily if your web application has like vulnerabilities. So can we protect like with the next generation firewall? No, right? But with web application firewall, WAF, yes. WAF top 10, not only WAF top 10, even we can allow or disallow HTTP methods. What HTTP method should be allowed? And if we understand that delete, trace, and put, etc., these HTTP methods are very risky and they should not be allowed. So yes, like, and even by default, they all are not allowed. In web, by default, only 3 HTTP methods are allowed. All other HTTP methods are not allowed by default. Even we can allow or disallow parameters, parameters length, values, and different entities like file types used in the web application. What all file types should be allowed? Even we can protect from the cookies tampering, right? Session hijacking. So it's all not possible with the next generation firewall. Apart from that, even attack signatures can be applied to both request and reply even. So with the web application firewall, we can associate a use attack signature with both request and reply packets. Even they can be like positive and negative security model, right? In web application firewall. So let me go to the next one. So web application firewalls basically what protect against OWASP top 10, and I'm going to show you the list of this OWASP top 10. Just hang in there. So I'm going to show you protect layer 7 applications without involving the development team. A very good feature of F5 Big IP ASM, that is protect layer 7 applications without involving the development team. We don't need to talk to the web development team to create any security policy, right? Because in F5 Big IP ASM, there is automatic learning option. With that, even different file types, parameter length, values, URLs, all can be learned automatically. And once done, then we can have a complete security policy created, right? So without like involving a web application development team, we can create a very strict security policy in web application firewall, particularly F5 Big IP ASM, right? And here like there are two different ways to create security policy. One, that is negative model, anything not explicitly disallowed is permitted, right? So if we say like this one is bad, so only bad elements will not be allowed, rest will be allowed. What about positive security model? Whatever we say, like let's say we want to allow only 10 different URLs, right? And let's say 10 or 15 file types like the JPG, MPEG, and some other file type, GIF, and then different parameters, length, values. So whatever we have allowed in the security policy, that will be allowed, right? Rest not allowed. So in web application firewall, F5 big IP ASM, we can have negative security model, we can have positive security model, both. WAFs provide protection from parameter tampering, forceful browsing, cookie tampering, brute force protection, login page enforcement, web scraping, cross-site forgery protection, even layer 7 distributed denial of service attack, right? Uh, this cookie tampering is already there, and I'm going to show you like some of the options of web application firewall. So from here, like we can conclude that WAFs protect web applications and next generation firewalls protect what? Networks. So basically, next generation firewalls means network firewalls. So in some cases, enterprises will need to implement both solutions, a next generation firewall plus web application firewall, a dedicated layer 7 web application firewall to protect web applications, right? So now I'm going to show you different options in like WAF, and side by side I'm going to compare WAF with the Palo Alto firewall. Hang in there. So it's a Palo Alto firewall, PAN OS 10.0, and it has approximately 3487 applications, right, with different risk levels and category, subcategory, tags, characteristics. So we can control different applications here in Palo Alto firewall because it it has like application intelligence. Apart from that, if you look at the security profiles option here, security profiles here, so there is antivirus, anti-spyware, vulnerability protection. So even like if we want to mitigate SQL code injection attack, cross-site scripting attack, so with this vulnerability protection, yes, this all can be done. Even there is URL filtering, file blocking, sandboxing, that is wildfire analysis. So in Palo Alto firewall, of course, is the next generation firewall, and the leading vendor, in fact, in next generation firewall, this Palo Alto is, but it still cannot provide the complete security to our web applications, right? Complete security to the web application, and because it's not as per like this OWASP top 10 standard. And let me show you. So if you go to this URL wasp.org, and you look at the latest report here published in 2017, WASP top 10. So basically WASP is like open web application security project, is an open community dedicated to enabling organizations to develop, purchase, and maintain applications and application programming interface, that is APIs, that can be trusted. So here, if you look at the content here, the top 10, so top 10, the first one is like injection, right? This one, like the SQL code injection attack, LDEP, broken authentication. Next one, third, sensitive data exposure. Here, like in F5 big IP ASM, there is one feature, data guard. So data guard can be used to prevent from this like exposing sensitive data. Firewalls also they do have like DLP sort of thing, data loss prevention or data leakage policy. The next one is like external entities, and then broken access control, security misconfiguration, cross-site scripting, insecure deserialization. And the ninth one is like using components with known vulnerabilities, and the final, insufficient logging and monitoring, right? So this one is the latest report of OWASP top 10. So most of the like vulnerabilities or weaknesses in the web application can be in fact prevented with this web application firewall, and I'm going to show you a few of them. All right, so let me close this. So here is a F5 big IP ASM WAF, and let me first show you like some of the vulnerabilities. So here, for the demonstration purpose, there is F5 big IP ASM here and a web application and PHP MySQL is for the database, and the platform is Linux is the platform like and PHP based, right? And this web application server is vulnerable server. It has too many vulnerabilities, right? This one PHP based but too many vulnerabilities. So it's behind the F5 WAF, that is ASM, but as such there is no security policy here, right? No security policy to protect the web application server. And here let's say a client machine here connected to the internet cloud, and there is a virtual server here, IP address is 222. So with this IP address, or maybe FQDN, if there is like FQDN are the host file to resolve name into IP address, so even we can use the like FQDN, fully qualified domain name, and just for the demonstration purpose I'm going to use the IP address instead of FQDN. So with this IP address, this the backend web server, the server like behind this web application, sorry, F5 big IP ASM is accessible, right? But it has too many vulnerabilities, so still it is behind the F5 big IP server but without security policy. So here is a like the web application server with vulnerabilities, right? So let me very quickly show you. So here there is one user with the student password. I have successfully logged in here with the username student, and if I go to control panel, I can check my like credit card number, I can see my email ID, telephone number, address, right? And here if you look at the address bar, then there is nick parameter. Nick is equal to student1. If just simply if I replace this student1 with student2, right? Now here I can have detail of database of student2. It's a nick parameter tampering attack. Nick parameter. Nick is what? Parameter. And even this student2, if I replace with the asterisk wildcard, so now I can have like complete database here, all users information. Why? Because the web server application server is vulnerable. There are like too many weaknesses, vulnerabilities. What if I let me log out from here? So now I'm successfully logged in from here. What if I just do some SQL code injection? 1 is equal to 1 here. So without any password, with the SQL code injected here, I am logged in, and if I go to your control panel, then again I can have detail of all the users, complete user database. And the kind of attack, that is SQL code injection attack, right? Even they can be hidden field manipulation. I mean, like if let's say I want to purchase any item from here, Samsung DVD, and $50, right? Look at the price here. Buy it. $50 is the price. All right. So now I'm going to use a tool here, Fiddler, just for the demonstration purpose. If I go to rules, automatic breakpoints before request. So now this Fiddler will act as a proxy, man in middle sort of thing, request generated from a browser will be intercepted by this fiddler, right? And then there we can do some change. We can manipulate the HTTP GET request. Once done, then will be executed, will be sent to the server, right? A kind of man in middle. So now here, if we just click here, buy it, right? So the request generated from browser is not submitted to the server. In fact, here F5 big IP ASM without any security policy to protect the web server. Here is my web application server and client here. So basically request generated from a browser is intercepted by Fiddler HTTP debug proxy tool, and here we can make change. Once done, then and executed or run to completion. I mean, like the request is completed, then request will be submitted to the web server, of course, through this F5 big IP system. But since there is one virtual server, and if you are aware with the LTM, in fact, of F5 big IP LTM, so you must be knowing like F5 big IP device is a default denied device, but if there is virtual server object created there, so it allows traffic to pass through, right? It means this request will pass through the F5 big IP system, but since like there is no security policy to protect the web application, so will not be checked against any I mean like the F5 big IP device will not check whether HTTP request is legal or not. And let me complete this request. So if I open Fiddler tool here and the last one, this one buy.php, I go to inspectors and here, see here is the price $50. What if I change this to only 2 USD, right? And then I click here run to completion. Done, minimized, and look at the price here. So now I can purchase this Samsung DVD Blu-ray disc with 2 USD only. Instead of in lieu of 50, the price is now 2 USD. So simply I can just log in here with the username and password. So let's say my username is student1 and the password here. Again I click submit. Again request will be intercepted here. I do not want to make any change or run to completion, or even I can turn it off, like just disable this feature. Done, and see here. So now I have purchased in just 2 USD. So this kind of attack is something like hidden field manipulation, again a parameter tampering, manipulating the hidden field, right? So can we protect all this with WAF, with F5 big IP ASM? Of course, yes. And even if I let me just compose from here, let me compose HTTP request. So IP address is 192.168.0.222, and if what I've changed the method here, like instead of get, let's say put or something, right? And execute it, this one. So if I show you the view, so here is the view. So executed successfully, right? Even HTTP method put. So what if I create a security policy in here like F5 big IP ASM? Let me show you very quickly just for the demonstration purpose, because later on we are going to cover everything in detail. And if you want like all the labs and complete material, then you can visit to this NetTech Cloud, and from here if you go to F5 big IP ASM, right, F5 big IP ASM, then here curriculum, and then different section here. And if I show you the lab workbook here step by step, so there is complete list of lab. Let me show you. So like starting with how to build your lab and all about the fiddler, even like creating cool virtual servers. So from the scratch, from the very beginning, and then you will find everything like how to use fiddler, about the fiddler, web application vulnerabilities, and like this one, NIC parameter tampering. So even you can do lab practice at your own, right? Once you know like basics of F5 big IPSM, you have covered all the module, then you can like, so here complete the lab with a lot of snapshot printed screen, right? And of course with all the like videos here. So you'll find, if I click here and go to back to courses and ASM, curriculum, and anyone like let's say attack signature. So here this complete. So here like if you play, then you will, so you'll find like different attack signatures and how to create. All right, so let me very quickly create a policy here. So my objective is like what do what I want here, like what objective I want to meet here. So very quickly I want to create a web application security policy here to protect my web application that is behind F5 big IP ASM. And so very quickly, just for the demonstration purpose, I'm going here security, application security, and I want to create a new security policy here. Just the test policy, policy one. Just give a name here. So let's give it test policy one. Let me click here advanced, and then of course like later on we will talk about different policy type here, security, parent, like the difference between these two, and then the different template here. So very quickly I want to show you. So just I'm using a rapid deployment application language is there, my topology here. So PHP, apart from that Linux, Unix, all right, and then I have my SQL, PHP is already there, and SQL, PHP, Linux, so and Apache server. All right, and the signature staging, I want to disable this, and policy enforcement mode. Okay, virtual server. Let me select my virtual server. Learning mode manual. That's correct, and let me put this in blocking. All right, so very quickly and without any customization, no tuning at all, just for the demonstration purpose, I'm creating a rapid deployment policy of ASM. Later on I will explain about rapid and like different options there in the policy template, what are like different options, signature staging. I will talk about like different settings and options. about the security policy. Just for the demonstration purpose, I'm creating a rapid deployment security policy, and the policy is also associated with the virtual server, right? Virtual server. So if I very quickly go to this virtual server option, virtual server properties, so here securities and then policies, you will find this test policy associated with the virtual server. And also I want to associate a log profile and to log all requests, because by default log profile is not associated. So now my virtual server has a WAF ASM, I mean like security policy, and log all requests, a logging profile. So now the packet flow is something like, if you are aware with this LTM. So what happens in LTM? Client request, first client request arrives on where? Virtual server object. So what is virtual server? A kind of listener object, right? So virtual server is a client. Then virtual server is usually associated with the pool. So client request arrives here on virtual server directed to the pool, and pool means logical grouping of members. So let's say there are three members in this pool. So basically load balancing method configured on pool, and of course availability of members, they both will select the member, right? And then request is forwarded to the member. It means client request first arrives on the virtual server, a listener object, listener or virtual server is associated with the pool, and then pool selects a member. That's the standard flow. With ASM, with this security policy in place, now what will happen? Client request will still client request will arrive to the virtual server, and then instead of directing client request to a pool, since this virtual server has security policy and another policy also automatically generated and created and associated with the virtual server, right? That is a kind of local policy. In fact, you'll find that here in policy section, automatically generated, created, and it basically this policy changes the packet flow. So instead of forwarding client request to the pool, what will happen now? This request will be sent to the ASM policy first, right? Will be checked for different attributes. I mean like the HTTP method, attack signatures, allowed file types, entities, different entities here, parameter length, values, etc. Right? And even this client request, HTTP GET request, the first packet, this generally the first HTTP message means GET message, GET request. So this will also be checked with the ASM policy whether client request is valid or not, right? For HTTP compliance and some other HTTP standards here, will be checked that it's all good. If like everything is in good shape, then only it is forwarded to the pool and then finally pool member. It means if once like ASM policy is created and associated with the virtual server, it means different packet flow now, right? So without ASM policy, client request is directed to pool directly, right? With ASM policy, by default, whenever we create ASM policy, another policy is created, and this policy has only one statement, and that is forward all requests, HTTP requests to the ASM. Even that can be customized of like if you want, like you don't want to forward all requests to ASM policy for the inspection, so that can be easily done. We can play with this policy, we can manipulate the policy, but if you don't do anything, you don't change anything here, then what would happen? All HTTP requests are first forwarded to ASM policy, right? And then to the pool. So it's all done, and let me update this. So now there is one ASM policy associated with the virtual server along with this log file, and I didn't do anything apart from like creating the security policy. I mean, like I didn't tune this security policy. No changes, right? And if I show you, so here we go. There is one policy created automatically. This one auto created, and what's the statement here? Match all of the following conditions, all traffic, and do the following. What it means? Match all traffic and then enable ASM, right? Enable ASM policy test underscore policy one. So this policy is automatically created and associated. We haven't done that. Agreed? So what we have done, we have created ASM policy, and this policy is automatically created and associated with the virtual server. And what's the purpose of this policy? To forward HTTP request to ASM, right? Not to the pool. So it's changing the traffic flow behavior. Agreed? Okay. And before I show you how to restrict, like how to prevent from SQL code injection attack and other, very quickly let me show you this about this policy, the text policy that we have just created. And if I go in advanced mode of this, so here if you look at general features, so illegal base64 value, illegal HTTP status, fail to convert. So in this section, and what about the HTTP protocol compliance? A lot of options are by default enabled. We haven't enabled anything from here. Even the bad HTTP version and bad host header, multiple host headers, they all will be treated as illegal request. And even host header contains IP address. So if inside the host header will be inside HTTP header, right? So what if we want to restrict that? The host header must have FQDN only, domain name like www.nettechcloud.com, not the IP address. Then what would happen? Even I would not be able to open the page with the IP address directly, right? Why? Because if I enable this option, it means there should be FQDN, fully qualified domain name, in host header. Here, look at the option here. Host header contains IP address or not. So we can set that. Even bad HTTP version is all by default done. What about the attack signatures? Generic, and there are other signatures also. Automatically attack signatures, right? Because I specified server technologies, that my server is Linux, Unix, PHP, MySQL. And even if I don't know about my web applications or other servers, so even there is another option here, auto learning feature, auto learning option. So as I said earlier, as I mentioned earlier, that without involving your web application team, you can have very strict security policy created here. You don't need to talk to your web development team, because here like there is option of automatic learning, right? So what we do, we create the security policy in transparent mode. That is not very restrict, of course. Transparent, I mean like just not restricting anything, not enforcing any policy basically, because enforcing means like the blocking mode. And then once this ASM policy learns entities, server technologies, right, and other parameters, and then we just put the security policy in restrictive mode. And here if I there are evasion technique detected, file types of course here, then URLs, parameters, session and logins, cookies, like too many options here, even IP address, geolocation, headers, illegal method, what block. So illegal method means only three methods are allowed. In ASM policy by default, only three methods are allowed. That is get, host, get, head, and this post. Other methods like the delete, trace, put, they are not allowed by default. So if ASM finds any HTTP method except these three, requests will be treated as illegal. HTTP method will be illegal method. It means illegal HTTP request, and as a result, HTTP requests will get blocked with this ASM security policy, right? And there are some other options also here: bot detection, redirection protection, antivirus protection, right? And in case if you want to allow like some other HTTP methods and even SQL code injection attack, yes. So even this security policy is going to provide prevention from SQL code injection attack. Can be mitigated. Why? Because there is SQL code injection attack signature associated with this virtual server. Okay, and what about HTTP methods, URLs, parameters, and headers? Inside header, there are different methods, and only these three HTTP methods are allowed: get, post, and head. But yes, if you want to customize this security policy, then yes, go ahead and allow like some other HTTP methods from here, from the list. That is possible, right? Known as policy tuning. Even you can specify all allowed file types, URLs, parameters, even parameter values, meta characters. And what if you don't know like what are different file types used that have been used in your web application? What are different URLs, right? So do I need to ask my web application team that please tell me all URLs used by you in your web application so that I can allow them here? No need to do that, right? Because here like there is option learning. If that is enabled, then automatically all used URLs, file types, parameters, their maximum length, values will be learned automatically. No need to ask anyone. And here like there is another good feature, data guard, like it like prevention from leakage of sensitive data. So very quickly let me show you and before that security. And if I go to this event logs applications, just to show you log. So of course there should not be any log here, no legal or illegal request. Again, I'm going to first like open the home page, and then I'm going to start with the same SQL code injection attack here. One is equal to one SQL code injection attack. Yes, requested URL was rejected. Please consult your administrator. Rejected. Why? Refresh. Okay, all right. Login.php attack signature detected, and there were three attack signatures detected here. And signature name SQL injection expression like 1 is equal to 1 is always true. Then the next one, and then finally here you will find like the complete information and is complete HTTP header, session ID, and attack type is what? SQL injection attack. To which URL? login.php page, right? Login.php page. So the home page, it was successful. Index.php, login PHP, there was an attack, SQL code injection attack. But this kind of attack can also be prevented with vulnerability protection profile of Palo Alto firewall, right? And in Checkpoint, like with IPS software blade, intrusion preventive system. But what about others? I mean, like, let me go to this page, and this time around, like, let's say I want again, if student one, or just before that, let me, so I'm going to compose a message with different HTTP method here, and this time 192.168.0.222, and the method here is delete, maybe a trace, put any method, execute, inspector tab, select this, and then web view. Okay, rejected, right? Why? Because illegal HTTP method put. And if I go here, I show you the log, refresh. So refresh the latest one, and here attack signature detected and illegal method, HTTP method put, right? So in this way, like if you create ASM policy, and of course still like this with this policy, we cannot protect this parameter tampering and of course hidden field manipulation. For that again we need to customize or tune this security policy. But at least cross-site scripting, SQL code injection attack, like different HTTP methods, yes, can be prevented from this security policy. At least without like any manipulation, without any customization. I haven't done anything, right? So I hope you understood like uh, what features ASM or web application firewall provide that next generation firewall cannot do. I'm not saying like next generation firewall cannot provide protection from like SQL code or injection attack or some other attacks. Yes, can provide. Even in checkpoint firewall there is IPS, because next generation firewalls of course like they are very different than the traditional or legacy firewalls, but still they're not mean to replace the web application firewall. They cannot like provide protection from OWASP top 10. And even there are too many other features like the PCI compliance, like payment card industry compliance, and a lot of like bot protection, DDoS, and web scraping, enforcing like login, like the login pay sort of thing. So a lot of other good features provided by web application firewall. So I hope you understand at least the basic concept, because from interview perspective also, this is going to be very common question. In fact, what if you have a next generation firewall, then why do you need a like web application firewall? Because if you say like next generation firewall, sorry, web application firewall means a layer 7 firewall. So of course, next generation firewalls also they operate up to layer 7 of OSI model. It's not like they are just inspecting data up to layer 3 and 4 of OSI model, right? So you should have complete understanding of web application firewall, and I hope like once you just move on, you go step by step, then you be in a position to understand all the differences, right? All the options here, like in this web application security policy here. So definitely you will not find all the options in any next generation firewall. So you cannot provide full protection to your web application with any next generation firewall. All right.